You remember this? Yeah, the year was 2011, and South Korean developer Lion Games released the first and only trailer in over 2 years for a game called Sou Worker Online, which is an anime action MMORPG. The trailer was short, to the point, not much info actually, but filled with action and sexy anime girls beating up Slenderman wannabes with larger-than-life weapons. Yes, some very exciting stuff. But now, fast forward to March 2014. Lion Games reveals the second Sou Worker trailer, which is in fact the new debut trailer since the game went through a lot of redesigning. The potential is still there though, and so are the sexy anime girls and, of course, panty shots aplenty. Now, let's see what we can expect of Sou Worker.
FreeMMOStation.com.
Oddly enough, there aren't many anime MMORPGs that possess such a strong visual identity. Along with Period Chronicles and Closer's Dimensional Conflict, Sou Workers is one of the few upcoming games that managed to look impressive and have a great representation of the kawaii culture that is now pretty much a worldwide phenomenon. While visually the game doesn't seem to have changed much since the 2011 announcement, it is now looking really sharp and polished, with a clean and discreet user interface that should serve as an example for other games. The major redesign went to the camera, which is now fixed and pushes the character slightly to the left for a better view of the action. In case the character uses a long-range weapon, the perspective goes over the shoulder in a Resident Evil 4 style. Previously, the camera wasn't fixed, it was all over the place as the studio describes it, and now, we approve of the new choice. Sou Worker is definitely flashy. Even a single sword swing will leave a trail of light, and the screen is frequently filled with all kinds of colors and special effects that sometimes just seem a bit too much. While the combat arenas have all these effects going on, this reinforces the appreciation that we can have for the peaceful moments inside the cities, when we can enjoy the clean and successful design of both environment and the characters. But now, for a bit of story. So the world was invaded by creatures from another dimension, and while humanity seems to be doomed, a few teenagers discover that they can harness some impressive and previously dormant powers. The Sou Workers are weapons that tie to the emotions of the characters that hold them. The new trailer shows 3 of them. Solum, sword, is revenge, Gunjazz is pleasure, and Missice is madness. Sou Worker will feature 6 characters focused around melee and range types, but the studio isn't going for a hybrid kind of class since they found this not to work with Desired in battle. Each character has its own storyline, and there are plenty of costumes to choose from and collect, including a nurse outfit, among others, but costumes don't have stats. There is some customization with items having sockets, but right now we don't know too much about that. While it is an action MMORPG, it is one of those games where you can co-op with a few players, but it's still suited for a loner gamer. It remains to be seen how far you can go without the help of others, since teamwork will definitely be necessary along the way, but the dungeon system is pretty intuitive, with players able to join at any time if there's a slot available, and you can set up your own macro so that you can perform an intricate combo only by pressing a single button, something that's going to come in handy when you're fighting alongside other players and you want to punch some enemies around. Sou Worker has its share of talking to NPCs, but the dialogue during the action part is voiced, using a system called Cinema Talk. The NPC will pop up on the upper right-hand corner in the screen to assist you, offer you a quest, or tell you where to go. Sou Worker also has a card game called Akashic Records, where players are able to collect cards through several ways, including completing quests, events, and defeating boss monsters. And these cards can be used in battle in the same way you activate skills and offer things like extra damage, healing, and more. Some unique cards will be there kinda just for fun, without any real use. One of them will make your character fart and run away, something surely extremely helpful when saving the world from gruesome creatures. Finally, PvP isn't exactly the focus of Sou Worker, so you can forget about large-scale battles. The studio is working on this aspect, but the plan is to add at least one PvP quest during the main story, as well as a small PvP system for now. Sou Worker won't be open world, but instance-based. This isn't properly a negative, just a fact that we'll have to deal with, just as in so many other games. Also, some players will most likely rage at the eventual gender-locked characters, although there seems to be a nice level of customization to make your character unique. And all those visual effects, isn't it just a bit much? Hopefully Sou Worker will focus on teamwork and push players to fight together against enemies and impressive bosses. Having a game that is online but can be soloed most of the time is just a waste of potential. All in all, the second coming of Sou Worker managed to keep us very excited about what it can deliver. Not only does it look like a real anime despite the excessively flashy combat, it seems capable of providing the thrills that very few action games can deliver. And plenty of panty shots, of course. Sou Worker is currently signed to China and Taiwan, but a South Korean publisher also shouldn't take long. Since Lion Games plans to have the first beta on South Korea, as is often the case, there's still no word on North America or Europe, but we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for this game.